Hello, yes, my name is Paul Corney. What do I do? Well, I help organisations and people make better decisions through making better use of their knowledge. I do that as an advisor, a consultant, and from time to time as a director or a trustee of a business. I work in many countries, across many industries, as it gives me a chance to experience different cultures and tackle diverse challenges. What might work in the West doesn't work in the Middle East, Africa and vice versa. I found that having a portfolio of activities has given me a broader view of where KM is and where it does and doesn't work in a global context. So in 2017, what am I going to do? Something slightly different with these aims in mind. Firstly, I'm going to get people talking about who they are and what they bring to the conference. Secondly, I'm going to get them to surface issues that they're facing at the moment and would like to have input on before they leave the conference. And finally, I'm going to illustrate the principle of give-get, which actually underpins knowledge exchange. One of the challenges, I think, for KM moving forward, once it becomes part of ingrained behaviour, very often it gets culled because it's not seen as part of the organisational criteria, if you like, in the same way perhaps as marketing and finances. Now let me give you three examples. Firstly, under relationship risk management. Now, I know, because my background was investment banking when I could talk about it, that one of the biggest challenges was in getting people to share relationships and cross-sell. And in the legal profession, I know it's no different. If a team or if a senior person leaves, retires, or for whatever, you need to build resilience into that. So that's been one of the drivers that I've seen, and I know people are putting in place ideas for that. Real challenge, I think, is looking at requests for information or requests for proposals. As part of the research I was doing for this session, I came up with a figure that something like 100 hours it takes a law firm to respond to a detailed request for a proposal. And actually there's a 20% chance of success. So that's another area where technology is starting to make a difference. And finally, and I think it's the obverse of people leaving, is the idea of onboarding. When you bring new people into a business, getting them up to speed is very important, and it can actually save you a significant sum of money. A big piece of work I did not that long ago saved the company 25% of its onboarding costs because they had a significantly better way of bringing people into the organisation using knowledge management. So perhaps the challenge for most KMers is thinking about not being driven by the tools, but understanding where those tools fit into the business or strategy. That one of the values of being at an event like this is learning from what other people are doing. Now, I've called it an open space peer assist for the following reason. Open space is a self-organising method for creating an agenda during a meeting or an event. Now, peer assist is a process that enables the gathering of knowledge drawn from the experience of colleagues before embarking on a project or a piece of work, or, and this is directly relevant here, when facing a specific problem or challenge within a piece of work. So the idea of a group of people being able to absorb and understand what their peers have done around a similar problem is useful. But the good news is that artificial intelligence actually can help leverage humans and not replace them. And the big challenge, I think, is to upskill, to interpret and manage your networks and facilitate. I've talked to a lot of people who are very significant in this industry, and each one of them has said the same thing, that they really don't know how to handle this. It's a bit like back in the 90s when we talked about automated indexing on the fly. That was going to solve everybody's ability, and yet we still tag things. So I'm looking forward to the event, and I'm looking forward to the discussion.